So this is a video on painting the walls with the trim first, and plus a little video on brushes. And I'll talk about brushes at the end, but this is the brush that I recommend. This is the only one really we use anymore because we don't use oil-based paint. This is designed for latex paint. It's 3.5 inches width. You're not going to use 3.5 inches. That holds a lot of paint. It's very heavy when it's full, and all day with that you'll build some muscles. You'll probably use something more like a 2, but the angle cut is nice. Look at there, it's inspected by Hannah, so you know it's good. The way we paint trim and walls, you can paint the walls first, sure, but it's slower. We would come along with, this by the way is my reservoir of paint. You can use a tray if you want, but you'll step in it, you'll splash it, and it's terrible. On our tool post, we point to these and the buckets. I think the buckets are going to be a lot cheaper if you can find a used one, or if you buy paint in a 5-gallon bucket. That's when you save these. And then so you get your paint, you load it up. This is this is even less than a 1/2 inch nap, which is nice for trim. Almost any nap works. We roll it, we squish right into the corners. Squish, and we would probably even tape here and get really as close as we can. And then we don't leave the roller stipple. We come along with the latex brush and just tip out leave nice parallel strokes. And this also kind of, if we've already caulked, but if you have some hairline cracks and you haven't caulked, paint will fill hairline cracks, but they crack over time. So it's really, you can't rely on paint to fill any kind of a crack. It's really just a covering. It's like a plastic, it's like a latex glove on top of your house. So that's it. You let that dry, then you change colors. And I have a post on how to quickly clean a roller and clean a brush. And then you come back with your trim paint, with your wall paint, and I would be using I would switch to a longer nap. I think this one's 1 inch possibly. And I would come along and I would roll very close to the trim. And if I bump the trim, oops, too bad, but it's not really going to matter. So I'm coming along, I'm just rolling the trim. I would have, by that time, this trim would have been dry. I would have protected that with some tape and from the sprinkles that are going to come down. I would have put that green tape right on the wall because I'm going to have to cut that anyway with wall paint. So I could come down, and even if I hit my tape, I'm still safe. So I come along, I do everything, but I just protect from sprinkles, so I don't have to paint the whole thing again. So then I put my 2 coats on my wall, I wait for my wall paints, both coats to dry, and then I come back with the wall paint, and I cut, and with a brush like this, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but the bristles go right into the crack. If you use, now we're sort of making a transition over to brushes. I bought these just to show you on the video, utility brushes, and you know they're good because they're $1, $2. I don't know if you can see the difference, but these bristles are thick, and look at that, it's falling out, and they will continue to fall out. Look at that, I'm just pulling them. Oh my God, I'm just pulling them out. So you don't want that in your work. The same is true for cheap rollers. The lint, it just comes off, and then you have sandpaper all over your walls. It's disgusting. So you don't. These low-cost things are really not even workable. They're just a ruse, really, to get your money, and you end up being really frustrated trying to cut this because the bristles are all like this. Right here, the bristles are touching my trim. I can't help it. But with a quality brush, no bristles touch the trim, and you get a perfectly straight line. You don't need tape to do that. If you want to use tape, go ahead, but you have this really for the rest of your life. I will buy one of these, and I will use it every day, day in, day out for 6 months. And I only clean it when I'm changing colors, or at the end of a job, or when I know I'm going to dry it out. And I think I have a video somewhere on cleaning brushes and cleaning rollers. So that's the basic story. So let's say what happened if I had come along with my wall paint and I had bumped into my trim. Is that a problem? Not really, because after I cut my wall, I cut a line there. I come back, I clean the brush or get a different brush. I come back and I just hit on the trim where there's wall paint. So why do we do it in this order? Because doing this is slow and difficult. you can see that the bristles, it's hard to catch a lot of paint there, although it still finds the corner quite nicely, but it's so much easier to, dip your paint, spread it out over about a yard, and then just come along and just fill in the crack. And it's just, I do go this fast when I'm especially apartment work, where the quality is low and they want low quality. But even for high-end work, for somebody's really fancy house, I'm going that fast. And if it finds that corner, you come along. It makes painting fun, actually. Okay, so that's how we do it. The other way I mentioned in the post, some guys will come along, some painters, not just guys, come along and they'll paint this. They will not have painted the trim. Then they would roll right into the corner with their paint, or maybe they'd come close, and then they would cut the wall maybe, and then they would paint the trim. And sometimes you're painting the trim either with a roller or without a roller, with just a brush, dipping and doing, which is really much slower. And when you're doing that, you're going to flip paint. There's no way to avoid drips. Why did they sell drop cloths if it wasn't? Quality paint drips less, but if you're rolling the paint, which most painters don't even think about, that's a possibility of rolling and tipping out, you're going to splatter onto your freshly painted wall. So there's the flaw in that method. Painting the trim first, it's done. Coming along with the wall paint, again, taping here. When you're over the door, being careful, maybe dropping something over the door. It's useful because there is going to be some spray, but not with good paints. If you buy, I'm sorry to say it, but if you buy Glidden, it sprays like a shower. If you buy Benjamin Moore or some of the higher quality paints, they don't spit. So that's why we do that. Okay, so now just a brief message on why we buy this brush and not this brush and not this brush. This is the Nylox. It's latex only. The bristles hold latex better. They flow better. It's fine. It's great. This is also okay for latex, but it also you can also use all paints. So that means you could put an alcohol-based. It would ruin it right away, and you'd never get it clean. But you could certainly put oil-based paints in this brush, and you could clean that brush. But honestly, we don't use enough oil. And when we do use oil, we pick up these. And yeah, your bristles come out. Look at the bristles flying out of this. And then we throw them away. I hate to say it, but there's no other way. This one, I think, is actually, this one might be an old Nylox. No, this one is an XL. This is a polyester, all paints and stains. So these two brushes are really the same. But, Purdy would not agree with me. You get difference. We like sort of medium stiff, or these are all stiff. This one is soft. Actually, that is kind of a little problem. But I think the rep gave me this brush for free, which is why I haven't used it. I'm waiting to break it in when I paint my own house. But I think these two you could use oil, but you would kind of ruin them because you can't get all the oil. You can clean them with thinner over and over, and you won't get all the oil out of there, and then they get really stiff and unusable for latex. So why would you ruin a good brush with oil-based paints? I'm glad they're getting rid of oil-based paints. And then I bought this one at the Benjamin Moore store. This one is a step above this dollar store brush. Can you find the bristles? But I can't show you on the video. I don't think you can see that the bristles are really thick, like not even like horsehair, but like, I don't know, some animal with really thick hair, thick bristles, and you can't control them. And the same is true with this. And these are fine. They hold the paint long time, and it was inspected by Hannah. So how can you go wrong? Thank you, Hannah. I think that's all I have to say. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.